All right, everybody, it's the one we've been waiting for. At least I've been waiting for this. This set of verses is some of the really some of the most well-spoken ones in the Old Testament, I think. They're just wonderful, packed, filled to the brim with wonderful, wonderful, wonderful images and just amazing connotations and things that just point to Jesus. I can't begin to describe how excited I am about this one. We are in Isaiah 52, verses 13 through 15, or to the end of the verse, and then all of chapter 53 today. Oh my goodness. It is so amazing. I would say pause the video right now to read through it. Read through that section, 52 verse 13 to 53 verse 12. It's just read through it a couple of times just to take it all in. Just enjoy reading about this deepness that we see, that the really the true depths of the love that God has for his creation, for each and every one of us. Yeah, anyways, I could keep going on, but that would take away from what we're about to see. Here we go. I don't know about you guys, but I have been excited to get to this section of Isaiah. This is the fourth suffering servant song. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh, just so wonderful, so beautifully written. You could spend days, weeks, years, your lifetime really kind of digging into this, just to see and take in all the richness of the entire passage. I just don't think we could spend enough time on this, but alas, I'll do my best to give you some themes that are popping out for us here today. Okay, so we'll start off in 52 verse 13. Behold, my servant shall act wisely. He shall be high and lifted up and shall be exalted. We see this, that God is granting his servant this great victory, saying that he has this great victory that is his. He should be high and lifted up. Now Jesus is, before becoming incarnate, was high and lifted up. He was the Son of God. He is the Son of God. Even when he's incarnate, or even when he came to earth, but still, he was high and lifted up, and he shall be high and lifted up again because of his actions. The humbled, those who are humbled will be exalted, and God exalts or humbles the proud and gives grace. I'm just going to stop rambling and keep going on. All right. Wow. 14. As many were astonished, his appearance was so marred beyond any human semblance, and his form beyond that of the children of mankind. You see, Jesus went through so much torture, so much pain, so much was inflicted upon him that he was unrecognizable. Absolutely unrecognizable. His appearance was so marred, just as it says here, so marred beyond human semblance. He didn't even look like a human anymore. And his form beyond that of children of mankind. He was so marred, and that was what he went through in the Passion. And he does that. He goes through all of this. He goes through all of this rejection so as to sprinkle out. So he shall sprinkle many nations. This can be thought of as the sprinkling of blood. This great high priest sprinkles the blood on the sacrifice or on the altar so that he might atone for the sins of the nation. That's how it was done in ancient Israel times. So shall he sprinkle many nations. So not only is Jesus coming for Israel, not just Israel. He's coming for many nations to sprinkle the blood upon them, sprinkle his blood upon them, so that they might be made perfect. Kings shall shut their mouths because of them, for that which has not been told them they see, and that which they have not heard they understand. Mm. He's rejected to the point of death. And as we see this, this is 52 here. 52, chapter 52 ends with rejection. Well, the first three verses of 53, as we're going to keep plugging along, the first three verses of 53 53 starts. With even more rejection. Ooh, it's getting even deeper in here. Even more rejection. Verse 53, verses 1 through 3. Who has believed what he has heard from us, and to whom has the Lord been revealed? Arm of the Lord been revealed. For he grew up like a young plant, like a root out of dry ground. This brings us back to the stump, the shoot of the stump of Jesse. How the shoot that springs forth and gives life to everyone. This is what this is referring to here, right here. This shoot, this stump. The verse reference is escaping me right now. It was earlier on in Isaiah, really early, I think, within the first 15 chapters or something like that. I'll have to look that up for you guys. Anyways, so, for he grew up like a young plant and like a root of dry ground. Now, this next section, this next passage right here, little half verse here, it's pretty interesting. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. See, there was nothing physically, outwardly apparent, none of Jesus' outward appearance while he walked among everybody made them, drew them to him. Let's see if I can reword that. There was nothing that made Jesus look different than anybody else of his time. He looked like an average Middle Eastern Israelite Jew in Palestine. There was nothing that drew that we should look at him. There was no form or majesty that we should look at, no beauty that we should desire him. He came to us. We did not go to him. He came to us. Oh, just the fact that we see this and how it fits with Jesus is absolutely amazing. So, no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised. See, so intense was their disgust for Jesus, for this servant, that they couldn't even look at him. They couldn't even bear the sight. They were so disgusted with who he was. And really, that's what that's his appearance, bearing the sins of the entire world for all time. It's disgusting, because sin is disgusting. And they couldn't even look at him. He was so despised. He was so cast out, and yet God raised him from the dead. He did not stay dead when Jesus went to the cross. Okay. Now, in these next couple of verses, we have some interplay. In 4 through 5, or 4 through 6, we have some interplay. So in verse 4, we see, surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. We're looking at what the servant did. What the servant did. All right? Yet we esteemed him stricken by God and afflicted. All right? This is what we did. All right. But he, going back to the suffering servant here, excuse me, um, he was pierced for our transgressions. He was pierced. It just brings up the cross. The cross. He was pierced in his hands, in his feet, in his side, on his head as he bore the crown of thorns, the corona of thorns. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. See, there's this interplay of they're kind of when you're speaking this out loud, you're realizing this is what I did, but this is what he did for us. This is what he did for us. This is how great his love is for us. His chastisement brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. Now 6. This first section in 6, it's kind of a little bit of a self-reflection. Kind of looking, it's looking at yourself and says, well, all we like sheep, we like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way. We've all fallen. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God and are justified freely by his grace, because we all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord laid on him the iniquity of us all. Just, it's so rich and so powerful. This is just looking to what the Lord did. So excellent. So excellent. Looking to what the Lord did. Wow. So, verse 7. We see verse 7, it comes out elsewhere in Scripture as well. It's referenced elsewhere. We see this in Acts chapter 8. Now you can pause the video at this point and take a look at this. Chapter 8, verses 34. Let me do a verse check really quick just to make sure that I'm telling you guys exactly where I want you to go. Okay, yes. Well, it starts in 26. Yeah, let me fix that. 26 and following. 26 and following, and that's Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch. This is where he's talking about this, and the Ethiopian eunuch is just like, who's this talking about? Is this talking about someone important, or is this just given a grand scheme of things? And Philip really cuts the chase. He gets right down to business and tells the Ethiopian eunuch, this is Jesus. This is exactly what he's done for you. Have any of you had an experience like that? Where someone comes up to you and asks you, what does this mean? And you have had the opportunity to share the light of the gospel with them. Have any of you had an opportunity with that, like that? Anyways, continue. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that's before shears is silent, so he opened not his mouth. This whole opening, yet he opened not his mouth. Where does this connect? This connects in one of our other Bible studies going on. Oh, excuse me, gotta let the camera adjust. My hand got in the way. Oh, brilliant. This is like one of our other Bible studies that's going on right now. 1 Peter. Oh, yes, 1 Peter 2, verses 22 through 24. Booyah. That connectivity with the New Testament. We got that. He opened not his mouth. Wait, there's more. Just you wait. This all connects as well. Back in verse 6, we each like sheep have gone astray. Okay? By his wounds we are healed. Peter really says these words. He writes down these words that we know them, so we see them in all their fullness and what kind of effect they had on the people, on him. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, this lamb that is led to the slaughter, Jesus is our lamb. Jesus was our sacrificial lamb, and he was led to the slaughter, and he didn't say a word. He quietly carried his cross. He walked that road for you. Just an excellent section. All right. Wow. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like the sheep before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. Continuing on. By oppression, we're in verse 8 of 53. Sorry, I'm getting these papers adjusted. 8. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for a generation who considered that he was cut off of the land of the living and stricken for the transgression of my people. See, this by oppression and judgment he was taken away. Jesus didn't receive a fair trial. He was accused multiple times falsely from the Jews and the Gentiles. He didn't receive a fair trial both from Herod, from the Sanhedrin, from Pilate. None of it. I mean, Pilate did say that he found no fault in him, but he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to free him. But the thing is, and we'll get there. Get there in a little bit. I'll say why. Yeah, let's jump. The reason why he didn't do anything is because it was the will of the Lord to crush him. It was the will of the Lord that Jesus would die. God knew that the only way for creation to be made right, for all of his people to come home to him, was for the Son of God to die. Wow. And they made his grave, go back to verse 9. They made his grave with the wicked and with the rich man in his death. See, in Roman times, often the corpses that were crucified were left out there. They were left out on the corpses, or out on the crosses for days, until like the birds and the animals would come by and eat them. But the thing is, God wasn't going to have that with his Holy One. God would not have that with his own Son. In Psalm 16, verses 9 through 10, hold on, we've got that right here. I'll write that down for you guys. Psalm 16, verses 9 through 10. If I can turn to it fast enough. My marker went out. There we go. It is. Therefore my heart is glad, my whole being rejoices, my flesh also dwells secure, for you did not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption. The Lord would not let his Holy One see decay or corruption, and he made his grave with the wicked, with those who are doomed to die, and with a rich man in his death. And again, it comes back to his mouth. He had done no violence, and there was no deceit in his mouth. There was nothing that he said that was wrong. Jesus was perfect in every way, shape, and form. And yet it was the will of the Lord to crush him. He has put him to grief. When his soul makes an offering for guilt, he shall see his offspring. He shall prolong his days. See, this 10, this first section of 10, it's also demonstrating that we are not in control. We are not in control. You see, we could say that like it was those first century Jews that killed Jesus, but no, it was just as much us because of our sin. It was our sin that killed Jesus, but it was also God orchestrating everything. It was the will of the Lord to crush him, the will of the Lord to put him to death in order to make everything else right, in order to make you righteous. And these last couple of verses are just joyous victory over everything that's taking place, everything that has taken place. Joyous victory. And when his soul makes an offering for guilt, he shall see his offspring. He shall prolong his days. The will of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Out of the anxious of his soul he shall see and be satisfied, but his knowledge shall be the righteous one, my servant. By his knowledge, by the righteous one, by the act of Jesus, many, that knowledge shall make many be accounted righteousness. And he bears their iniquities. He bears all of the iniquities of the entire world for all time. And therefore I divided him a portion with the many, for he shall divide the spoil with the strong, and he shall be poor, because he poured out his soul to death and was numbered with the transgressors. And yet he bore the sin of many and makes intercession for the transgressors. Oh, this triumphant victory of Jesus, Easter, this Easter victory, this Easter joy that we have because of what Jesus has done. By his work, by the work of this servant, the many will be accounted righteous. Wow. Could just, yeah. All right, we're going to stop there. I'm going to wrap this up in just a little bit. Thanks for joining us. Wow. That is a jammed packed chapter of Isaiah. It is so wonderfully packed. Just the fact that it just points to Jesus. Jesus. That's just one point I want to get across. I hope you enjoyed this lesson today as much as I did. I just love talking about this. Love talking about seeing how this all throughout history takes place and strings together, and how God fulfills his promise in and through his son, Jesus. Sorry, my Bible's over here. That's why I'm referencing that way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or anything really like that, I'd love to continue and engage with this chapter, these couple chapters, as we continue our study. It's so rich and so rewarding. Let us close with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for sending Jesus. We thank you for sending him to be the atoning sacrifice for our sin. Your great love for us knows no bounds, that you'd sacrifice your only son for us. Help us to keep trusting you fully and relying on you amidst all of these changing times and circumstances. It is you that we follow, it's you that we hope in, it's you that we have faith in. Grant us this strength. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.